podcast time. Church bells and the cultural hall. Let's start the show.
It is time for another episode of the Cultural Hall. It is the last Articles of News episode that you will get before Fall October Conference 2025. So there will be some predictions in this episode. There will be a grab bag of emails that we will answer and respond to. We will also be getting into news stories we haven't done. News stories that make me anxious. We're going to talk about that. There's a very prominent news story that makes me very anxious in a good way and in a bad way, as life can sometimes be. And my friend, the news wizard himself, Verlin, here with me. Sir, thank you for being very available this week. Molly's out on vacation. Taylor, are you there? Taylor, email me. Are you all right? He works a regular job. Makes it really hard for me to connect.
He does.
Yeah.
Although he did respond to me on Facebook and said he's interested in the event we're thinking about.
Yeah. Daytime. Looking like it's going to be October 23rd, so people can put this on their calendar now. I feel so bad for Verlin because Verlin is like, let's make this happen. Hey, how about this day? And I go, yeah, of course. Those days look great. And then I go, oh, no, I'm busy both of those afternoons. It will have to be this other day. So committed now to the 23rd of October. It will be somewhere in the Salt Lake County area and some element of a live show and Ask Us Anything and maybe we get a guest. We could probably
multiple hosts. We could probably line up a guest or two.
Yeah, we'll see. I want to.
Should we invite the gentleman who owns the second longest podcast that covers Mormon news?
Oh, I don't know. He'll invite himself. So do we need to invite?
That's true.
And technically, we are the second longest running, but it's like it's a.
I'm not willing to take that.
Yeah, no. It's a whole thing. Maybe he will come. Anyway, October 23rd. I'm willing to vocally commit to that.
October 23rd afternoon, likely later in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And maybe in a spot where you can grab a burger, fries, and a beverage of your choice.
Yeah, or maybe a salad, depending on where it actually ends up being at.
True.
Yeah. We received an email from someone giving us some contact information for someone in Michigan. I want to start with that email and say, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to share that person's name, so just say thank you. I will be reaching out. I think we're kind of going to let General Conference exist this weekend and then hop back into some of those things. So thank you for emailing contact@theculturalhall.com so that I could get that email today. And other things. I just got to pull this up, actually. What is new with you, if anything? You are not at home because you have no home.
That's right. I am homeless. The house continues. I am sitting in my son's home office, actually. So the awards and certificates you see in the background, if you're on YouTube, go to YouTube, subscribe.
Yep.
Rate us, comment. But those are all of his awards and certificates and honorariums.
Are you in your home office? Are you a awards and certificates and honorariums guy? Are you that guy?
No. Okay. Not at all.
Okay.
No, I had a bookshelf behind me previously, and then I have all of my vinyl out on a shelf, and then my turntable, and usually I have the vinyl flipped up of whatever I'm playing at that point in time, so anyone on camera can see what that is.
You can't see it, and the camera is far enough away. I'm trying a new camera, everyone, but in this corner, there's a newspaper article that has been framed. You can't see it.
I see a whale. No, just kidding.
It is an article when I was in the Salt Lake Tribune about 15 years ago or so that I had framed, and then a TV.
What did you try to? What did you try to start on fire that got you in the Tribune?
Thank you. And then we've got a poster. You can't see this on the other side, but maybe I'll do a video tour of the old studio. Saranac Lake, where my wife and I went on our honeymoon, and then across the way, a poster from our honeymoon as well when we went to Acadia National Park.
No, okay, nice.
Keeping it high and tight right on the face for this video today. I've stalled long enough. Let's get to the other emails. This email from Chris, he says, first off, I think it's great that Kirk offered his own feedback. Not all shows are for everyone, and I imagine it's fairly rare that someone writes in and gives cogent reasons why they are leaving. So, Chris, I'll agree with you. That said, I personally love the unscripted form that you generate your podcast in show form. I find that your episodes are as long as they need to be. They very rarely feel like too much time is spent on them. Admittedly, I run at about 1.5 times speed listening to them.
He's of my same heart. That's
yeah,
what
I'm
I run.
I'm 1.8. That's how I listen.
I can't do that.
Yeah,
I can't do that. My brain won't keep up with that.
There's a threshold for everyone. Mine is 1.8.
Yeah.
His email goes on. Listening to people on a podcast run at normal speed is exceedingly painful. Chris goes on to say, politics is hard, but it's likely we reasonably align politically, so it doesn't bother me, says Chris. Looking forward to when you get back to interviews because I think those are amazing and provide some of the best, most thoughtful content and really show how great of a host you are, asking thought-provoking questions and drawing out the meat of people's faith and their relationship with or without the church. Thanks as always for all that you and your co-host do. I'm putting on a great show. Also, I hope I can get down to the AMA that you talked about. Sounds fun and would love to both meet MEET and MEAT, you and Verlin. Chris, aka the Tiger with a U. So thank you for emailing.
Oh,
and Chris.
Nice, Chris.
Another email real quick. Hey, Richie, I'm a reactivated Patreon saint. You can go to patreon.com/the Cultural Hall. A couple years ago, I ended my contribution on Patreon, honestly, because I felt like there were too many interview shows in podcast form. But I started listening again and was convinced that there's no other shows like this one, so I am back. I really enjoy the articles of news, your take on them, and your unique perspective on the gospel and LDS culture. I have people in my life who are, quote, all-in church members, children who have left in the last couple of years, and other family who range from ambivalent to the church to resentful. So again, I just really enjoy your unique perspective. Keep them coming. There's no one else doing this kind of thing. P.S. to the guy's email that you read on the last show, if the chit-chat at the beginning of the episode seems to be going a little long, just put it at 2 times speed or skip ahead until after the ad break. Problem solved. Cynthia solving everyone's problems.
Nice job, Cynthia. Thank you.
And then this email, the final one at contact@theculturalhall.com. Hey, Richie, just wanted to let you know that I really appreciate your current format for articles of news. The opening exercises, that is the pre-show chatter, is not unique to your show, and it's one of my favorite things. I, like Verlin, appreciate hearing from different perspectives, and while we don't agree 100% of the time, I always come away with a positive reaction. I love the idea of in-person meetings and wish I lived closer to Taylorsville. That's where I live. Keep up the outstanding work.
Don't dox him.
Yeah. Chris Babcock from St. George there. He's doxed as well.
Nice. Maybe we could do a live show in St. George sometime.
Do you ever go down that way?
If I have need to, absolutely. It's gorgeous, beautiful down there. I'm a big fan of Zion.
I love it. I didn't know you liked Zion.
I'll go anywhere.
Yeah. For you, dear, anywhere. For me, dear, anywhere. He says, P.S. The last time a president of the church passed away close to General Conference was when George Albert Smith passed away April 4th, 1951, and David O. McKay was sustained on April 9th. So thank you for emailing.
And they did President Smith's funeral as the Saturday evening session of conference that year, I believe.
Yeah, so let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah,
let's make it happen. Let's recreate history.
They've already chosen next Tuesday.
But that's the funeral. That's
the
necessarily,
funeral.
We don't know. I'm of the assumption at this point that we will swear in President Oaks this weekend.
I think so. That's why I believe they did the memorial service earlier this week so that they could kind of check that box and go on to sustaining a new prophet. Yeah.
So as we do this kind of opening exercises thing, we'll get to news, everybody. Don't worry. What are your speculations from your predictions?
Well, I love the prediction you brought up last time, which was if President Nelson pre-recorded his talk, I think it would be very smart to have that talk played anyway.
Does it become a moot point, though?
I don't think so, because he was the prophet. He was the president of the church when it was recorded. He was receiving revelation when it was recorded. So why not?
Well, because
I guess President Oaks may have seen it already.
Yeah, but anything that he says, we just sort of negate because we go, that's the old prophet.
Well, you can always set a new precedent with an old prophet. You can teach an old prophet new tricks. No, that's
not the saying. That's not.
But anyways, yeah. No, I think that would be a very.
But isn't there some element of that though? That once we have a new prophet, we go, oh yeah. I mean, it's only a week's time, so this is the absurd level of this. But don't we sort of go, as in the past? It's not anymore.
Well, we've been taught that more current prophets or the current prophet is the most important to listen to, but we haven't been taught not to listen to previous prophets. In fact, for years, we spent priesthood lesson time focused on a prophet each year.
Yeah, that's a
So,
fair point. Fair point.
I think that's okay. And they
So,
just released 8 new chapters in the teachings of President Russell M. Nelson.
well, now you're getting into news. We were going to go there.
Well, it was connected.
Yeah, okay. So now there's what, 16 chapters of that book?
Yeah, I believe 16.
Any other predictions? Do you have an apostle prediction?
Yes. Well, I do. I think Elder Causet is in the lead in my mind. And I have no specific rationale except that he's been very visible for the last several years.
Okay.
And as being presiding bishop, he's been reporting to the First Presidency for many years. He's been meeting with them weekly, as he mentioned in the memorial service. So I think that's very high on the likelihood. The second likeliest, I think, is Elder Dubé, as you mentioned last time, for good reasons. And then I think the dark horse that I started thinking about was Clark Gilbert.
Interesting. I think Elder Gilbert, definitely a dark horse, a little too young and doing too much in the way of education right now. Like,
well,
such
Elder
an undertaking, and he's so specific for it.
He is, but think about when Elder Eyring was called, and think about when Elder Nelson was called, and Elder Oaks was called, and what they were doing, and they were all doing very big, broad, very busy things.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, I'll allow it.
And I know you. I think you've met with him personally, haven't you?
I have.
I recall correctly.
Him. He is a previous guest of the Cultural Hall, so people can find that episode where early on I make a joke about him aspiring to the red velvet chairs, and he did not appreciate that joke. So, yeah.
I don't understand why he would not have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. There are those that are like he that would admittedly say, listen, if I can affect more change and have that sort of power, makes it sound sort of
a kind of influence.
But have that kind of influence. It's no different than, I hate that every time you and I chat, we talk about this, but if you ever listening to Leading Saints, Kurt Franklin will openly admit that he is aspiring to whatever calling he can possibly get. And to that point, I think that there are people that are like him that look forward to that and go, what a great opportunity. What a great way to magnify and bless people. This is a thing that I would like to do. And we sort of as a culture say, don't aspire. To those that will do it that way, I think that's a great way to do it. Yes, of course. I want my stake president to be someone who wants to
be there
and wants to be there and has the time and the means and is considerate for everyone in the congregations and wants everyone to, of course. Yes, please aspire. The unfortunate thing, and where I think the warning about aspire comes from, is these guys that, need it for clout or so that they can, I was a stake president before I was an area that are not doing it for the wrong reason or for the right reasons. Those people I can well do without.
Yeah. Makes sense. So what about other predictions for conference? Do you think there's going to be any announced changes or alterations this early in President Oaks' tenure?
Let me go there in just a second. My dark horse is Elder Valenzuela.
Yes.
As the new apostle.
He's one of the presidents of the Quorum of the 70, I believe, right?
Yep.
And he's fairly recently called, isn't he, into that position?
I don't think so. I think he's been there for a little, maybe recently in the presidency of the 70, but
that's what I meant.
Not recent as a 70. I think he's one of the older 70s, one of the longer tenured. So other things, I think, as we talk about General Conference,
and he was actually featured in the memorial service, wasn't he? I think he gave the opening prayer.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think that we will see temples be announced at this General Conference.
Okay.
Do I think that it'll be at the clip that it was previously? I do.
Yeah, especially if they play the video from President Nelson.
Yes. But even if it's Elder Oaks, I think Elder Oaks will go at the clip of President Nelson. I think the church, as we've discussed here in the Cultural Hall, has a goal to have 500 announced by the year 2030. And I think that they'll continue to go at that clip so we can make sure that.
Well, and like most organizations, if you set a certain level of activity, it's very hard to back off. If you've built the organization and the infrastructure to support that level of activity, then keep that inertia going.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So I think that's a smart idea.
I don't think, I mean, I want to reiterate there will be a central Utah temple that will be organized or announced. I'm saying Fillmore because of the I-15 visibility. The Pharaoh says that it will be in Delta because there's more stakes there. I can see a case made for both. He has to call me the Pharaoh if it is in fact announced in Fillmore. So secretly, I hope that. What else? What else? What else? What else? I don't think that there will be an announcement about missions and the availability for missions to be kind of shorter, though we are starting to see in high profile like BYU recruits these
like BYU quarterback recruits.
Yes, yeah, like people that might be playing football for BYU just serving for a year. I think that you will see that. I don't think that you'll see that announced this year.
Okay. Well, I'm wondering if there's some other interesting things that could be announced, and I'm kind of hoping on these. I don't have any factual basis.
Okay.
I'm hoping that the church announces what I would call a virtual fireside capability.
Go on.
Right? They have these. I can't even remember what they're called. These discussions for young children, and they have these events for youth.
Yeah, they have friend to friend, and they have the
friend to friends, and
the FSY stuff,
and all of those things. I think they can take the next step and turn those into live interactive events where if you're participating, you can submit questions or you could submit reactions or they could ask for polls or I think that would be really interesting if they started interactive using technology and did that for adults as well. I don't understand why we don't get firesides above and beyond general conference. Why don't we get something once a quarter that's special for adults and informative? I think that would be interesting.
For single adults, you get it for kids, you get it for, the youth, the teenagers, but we don't have something for adults. I think that's great. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. I think another interesting one is maybe some advances in family history. Although there's been a lot of things to make family history work easier, I think we still have a lack of motivation for family history. And so I think if they gamified it, and figured out a way that you could earn badges and stars, particularly if you can post them on church social media.
Oh, interesting.
Then people would be incented to go after family history work.
Yeah, a tithing incentive.
If you could get a tithing rebate, that would be quite the change.
Yeah, or not even a rebate, but if you do 10,000 names the year prior, you get 1% off.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Interesting. The gamifying portion of that, I know like individuals sort of do that and stakes do it as well. They've got the stickers, how many names, how many times have we been to the temple, those kind of things. But to make that as part of the app, make it something that you could, in fact, gloat about on your social media.
Yeah, even if it's identifying ancestors or providing names that others can take to the temple, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
The last one, you mentioned no changes to missions. The last one is something that I think you've talked about a little bit, and I've certainly heard others talk about, is maybe we add another type of mission. So we have full-time proselyting missions.
Okay.
We have full-time service missions.
Okay.
Right. And then we have special types of service missions where someone may go do 3 months at the church distribution center or at Welfare Square kind of missions. I'm wondering if they don't announce a type of mission where you say, I would like to go somewhere in the world where the church is providing humanitarian relief. I'd like to go to Africa and work on the water projects, or I want to go to the Philippines and work on education projects, or I want to go to, Philadelphia and work on, history and family history projects. I think that would be interesting as well. I lost your audio.
As senior couples, you can do that, right?
Yes. Yeah, you can do that as senior couples. But
so are you saying just anyone?
Yeah. Just anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
there's a whole set of missionaries that might be incented to go for those reasons that aren't incented to go for a purely proselyting mission.
I hope that we continue to further to develop the missions so that they can be suited towards those that aren't necessarily the proselyting. So whether it's
Yes.
like artists or, some of those things, these people that maybe don't like people as much,
Right.
but be able to share their testimonies in other ways. I think that's awesome. I think that'd be
Now,
incredible.
I heard one other speculative idea, and I'm
Uh-huh.
not going to identify the podcast I heard it on.
Okay.
But I thought it was a very clever idea, and that was right now missionaries use Facebook and chat, Instagram to converse with people that are interested in the church.
Uh-huh.
I think that's a perfect place to front end AI.
Hmm.
And if someone's interested in the church, if they're just interested in asking various questions, why not have an elder or sister AI that kind of
Mm.
answers questions? And if they say, I'd like to learn more or talk with a live person about this, then click that button and they get patched into an elder or sister.
Hmm. Interesting. I mean, I think my immediate pushback would be sometimes the Spirit can speak to those that are, the missionaries that are interacting and go, oh, this isn't the concern at all, though the person may be asking, when do
Mm-hmm.
they meet on Sundays? And the Spirit can prompt and go, oh, the real question is about, do they have to give up coffee if they come to church on Sunday, right? Or
Right.
whatever the thing may be. It sort of is an
Mm-hmm.
absence of the Spirit, but it could
Well,
be a
as I thought
gatekeeper.
about that, I thought truth brings the Spirit. The gospel of Jesus Christ brings the Spirit. If we're using AI in an appropriate fashion to expose more of the truths of the restored gospel of Jesus Christ, why couldn't it bring the Spirit to the individual who's asking the question? And there's a whole set of individuals that I run into regularly. I won't name names, my
Mhm.
nieces and nephews,
Uh-huh.
but that they interact with machines much more freely than they interact with individuals.
Hmm.
And so open up that scope to others. And I myself have been using large language models a lot more in my personal and professional life in the last few months.
Mhm.
And it has enhanced my understanding and my experience and my appreciation for things that I would not have done before. So I think
Hmm.
it's something interesting to think about, particularly in light of the instruction we've received over the last couple of months from general authorities talking about how to use AI.
Hmm. All right, I'll take it. Any other predictions that I would say that might come out of this? I think that the large majority of this general conference will be focused on the passing of President Nelson
Mm-hmm.
and the state of our nation, with a specific focus on like mourning with those that mourn and comforting those that stand in need of comfort. I recognize that talks were due before the thing in Michigan, but I think that it's a large mistake if some people's talks weren't asked to be revised given the current everything, right? Not everyone. There will still be, I was born in South America and whatever the talk was about previously and has no mention of that. I think those will continue. But I think there will be some that they went back to and said, "Hey, you were talking about this anyway, but we need to have a little bit more, or let's take a little bit from column A and put a
Mm.
little bit more in column B as we can address this." Because waiting for 6 months' time to address the shooting in Michigan will be a miss. It is a miss. It is what everyone, every news, every individual, every saint is thinking, talking, frustrated, sad about. It is the thing.
It will be interesting to see how that's handled. I'm very curious about
Mm-hmm.
that. I think I would really appreciate those that do that, but I'm wondering if maybe Elder Oaks, and he stands up to conduct, says, listen, we're aware of this thing that happens and
Mm-hmm.
express again our condolences and support for those, and maybe says something like, you will be hearing more in the not too distant future
Yeah.
about how we are going to address this challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but our stake put out a communication to the whole stake saying that there are guidelines that are being developed right now and that
Mm-hmm.
that will be a point of conversation in stake conference. And then I received an email from the bishop who had been given instructions from the stake president in terms of making sure there is some kind of, I'll call it friendly passive security for the next several weeks of our sacrament meetings through October and November, asking the elders quorum if they could take on that assignment to have a couple of people outside the building,
Mm.
basically patrolling the parking lot, guiding people into the right entrance, and at least being aware and then alerting the bishopric if there seem to be any concerns.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, you're definitely going to see something different. That reminded me, I got a message from the church communication department too, that there is a concern that our friends might come to our meeting houses this weekend. And when they see that they are shut and dark, they will assume that we are not holding church in response to security concerns in the aftermath of the Michigan tragedy. This would include members that are unaware of the General Conference schedule, friends from the community who support us, and local media outlets. We want to share with them that we are gathering in our homes and in Salt Lake for our General Conference. So in this particular area, there was a essentially like a flyer that is to be printed and posted in each of the windows, and it links to a QR code about how people can join and watch General Conference this weekend. And that's a concern I hadn't even considered, right? Yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
I want
that
to show
makes total
solidarity with
sense.
the Mormons this week. Oh,
Where
no
did they
one's
go?
here.
Yeah.
Are we not doing this anymore?
There's a great excuse for something positive to put on your social media, whether it's X, Instagram, Facebook, MySpace, whatever you use.
Yeah.
But to put something out that is a positive message about gathering together with family, friends, or and in your own home to listen to the Lord's prophets and seers and revelators, and not being at church in a building this week. That would be a good public service as well as sharing a very positive thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know that I have anything else, anything that might be specific of this weekend. I don't think we're shaking and breaking ground this weekend. I think we're going to just sort of exist as that were. So let's take a quick break. When we come back in the
Well,
second.
hold on. I had one more out there idea.
Oh.
One other wish. This is not a prediction, but a wish. Don't you think it would be great if we could have casual Fridays at the temple once in a while?
Okay.
Because I travel a lot, and oftentimes all of a sudden I have an afternoon free up.
Sure.
And I don't have my temple clothes with me. And I feel terrible walking into the temple in jeans and a t-shirt. And I just feel completely out of place. And I know that they're supposed to welcome me. And I know that I shouldn't feel badly about it, but I do. So make Fridays casual Fridays so you can dress up if you want and go in jeans if you want.
So I want to give you grace and absolve you of that guilt. It is literally just you. And if anyone ever gives you a hard time about it,
I know.
It is them. Don't let that stand in the way. Now, that isn't to say, jean cutoffs and you go, when you could have worn your slacks or whatever. I without question in my mind at all, 100% or 0%, whichever way I need to phrase this so that it's accurate, he doesn't care. Does not.
I know he doesn't, but I think there are a lot of us who still have that thing planted in our brain somewhere.
Sure.
So I think giving those people grace and saying, let's have casual Fridays at the temple or casual Saturdays or pick a day and just send that message clearly. You don't have to be in a suit and tie to walk into the temple if you're a gentleman, and you don't have to be a dress if you're a sister.
Tell you what, we'll do casual Monday nights. So wherever you can get into the temple, wherever you can get into the temple on a Monday night, you can wear whatever you'd like to get in there. Let's take a break. When we come back in the second half, we'll do actual articles of news. Let me take just a moment to tell you all about bestdjinutah.com. That is the website where you can learn all about me. Oh, sure, you probably feel like you know me, but you know me in the cultural hall sense. I have a DJ company now, 6 of us strong. Great event hosts, MCs, and DJs that can be able to make whatever event you have coming up absolutely spectacular, and hope you will reach out to us. Now you're thinking, well, wait a minute, Richie, I don't live in Utah. Would you travel? Absolutely, I would travel. Would they travel? Absolutely, they would travel. Whatever your event is, doesn't have to be a wedding or a community event. We can do all sorts of things. I can teach you line dancing. I can dance with you. We can do partner dancing. We can do all kinds of things, but we can't do any of it if you don't hit me up. You can go to bestdjinutah.com. You can fill out the form to get more information or get a quote, and then I will get right back to you. Find out why I'm so busy and why sometimes we don't get episodes of the Cultural Hall. It's all because of bestdjinutah.com. Here in the second half of Articles of News, we do actual articles of news. Hit it, Peter Breinholt.
You can't lose articles of news.
And away we go. First of all, this 2020, not last week, the week before, maybe 2 weeks, depending on when you listen to this. They did a special about the dentist in Colorado.
They did.
Have you seen this?
I watched pieces of it. I didn't watch the whole thing.
It is called, I'm getting the name of it right now, 21 Days to Murder.
Ooh. And didn't both 2020 and 48 Hours do, I think, different kind of versions of this?
I'm sure. And I think Dateline has probably done one about this. This is
probably
James Craig, father of like 6 kids, his wife Angela. He's been found guilty of fatally poisoning his wife.
Yep.
You see lots of Mormonism throughout his life, right? His partners, everyone sort of talks, and there's a look, if we're being honest with one another, that you can tell. Look in the family, look in all this. Come to find out that he had been cheating with more than just her, and the guy searches how to poison, like on his work computer, and now I guess I'm glad he's that dumb so that they could catch him and put him away and everything like that. But there's a certain element of that I just was like, what is going on?
And then he's dumb enough to ask his kids to lie for him.
Yes, doubles down.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. And then it's surrounded in
it's miserable.
Yeah.
The worst of the worst.
Interesting fact, though, Lauren, who originally started the Cultural Hall with me, Lauren Matthias, who does a YouTube channel. I can't think of what the name of it is right now. It's like Faith and Crime or something like that. Several 100,000 viewers or followers of that. She is in that series. So it was fun to kind of see my old friend Lauren Matthias. Yeah.
Nice. Very good.
Yeah.
I know we all think that these kind of people are very rare occurrence, but I won't go into any detail except that I ran into someone who was pretty far along on that spectrum of rottenness when I was serving as a bishop, and had to take some actions that I won't go into to protect life and good well-being of people in a very specific circumstance. And I was highly suspicious that he was doing some things that affected the health of his family as well. So just ugly.
The name of her channel is Hidden True Crime. So if you want to check that out. She's no longer a member of the church, but she's done some things that have said that out loud. I'm not outing her as far as that goes, but there's that. Okay, so here's a news story that is sort of concerning me. Tell me what your take is on this. The headline, literally from just seconds ago, as I did the refresh on this because it's been a growing number, is members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints raised let me make sure I got the number right, $300,000 for family of gunmen in deadly Michigan chapel attack. They're victims too, said David Butler of the alleged shooter's family. So if you haven't seen this, this was created a couple days ago as we record this on Give, Send, Go, which is another one of these crowdfunding.
It's like a GoFundMe kind of platform, right? A competitor.
Yeah, he had created an account on the, this is David Butler too, raised like $10,000 for the alleged killer's family. But as of Thursday afternoon, more than 7,600 people had donated, and more than 300,000 people, or $300,000 to this particular fund. And I think it's great. We're getting kudos, as there is the narrative that, well, Mormons aren't Christians. Throughout the internet, there is kudos on the other side that says things like, well, they may not be Christians, but they're sure acting like it. Or, they to be able to forgive as they have and then turn around and even go, the next step and be able to raise this guy money or his family money. I think that that's an incredible thing as well. I also think that it's well, but what I am worried about and what I need to take a second and look at is, are we also raising money for the victims' families that were shot in it?
Yeah. And based on the video that came out that you shared last Articles of News episode, the bishop is kind of saying, we appreciate all of the reaching out. We will get better, but he didn't talk specifically about financials. I saw the same article. I have kind of the same response, which is that's great. I love that we're reaching out to the family. In fact, I think I mentioned that last time as well, that I was concerned about the family of the shooter or the perpetrator. But exactly the same point you're making. Are we providing the same love, the same concern, the same support for the victims themselves? Or
Yeah.
are we just assuming that they're going to get that support locally? And that may not be true.
Craig Hayden, one of the victims, his GoFundMe is at 108,000. And I could go through each of them, and we have now got names and ages of each of these things, and I think that as we get a couple more weeks down the road, I may call in one of our sometimes co-hosts, one of the folks from Texas, maybe Russ Wild or his wife Chow, and we may do an episode just about all of the victims and what we learned from their funerals, and have it be sort of a memorial episode of the Cultural Hall. So I won't go into all of that at this time because there is some other news that I want to get to, but I just would hope that we don't get caught up in the hype of we are so great, we are forgiving this guy, we are bringing all the money to this, that we don't forget those members of our faith who also will have need. I don't know
Yes.
the financial level of need for this. But I also think on some level it would be appropriate if the church said, hey, you know what? We're going to cover burial costs for all of this, folks. And so that money that comes in can go to other things that you may have that are going on, or some sort of
It wouldn't
financial
surprise
token like
me.
that.
It wouldn't surprise me if something is happening along those lines, but won't be publicized.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
The church is a self-insured organization, I believe. And so they can't lean against an insurance company to help them cover costs like this, but they certainly can make those kind of choices with the sacred funds that they administer.
So yeah, we'll get into the victims and their life stories. As we get through General Conference and some of that, then we'll have the funeral services and be able to hear just continual stories. And then at that point, as I understand it, the church has kind of said to the saints in that area, hey, stop talking to media for a hot minute. So we may be able to get some of those family members or something like that to be able to chat about that in the future. Whereas right now
Yeah.
it's sort of like, hey, maybe we just let this lie for a minute. This was interesting. 2 new Area 70s have been called
I saw that.
into
Yeah.
the 6th quorum of 70s. Banu Hiranandani. Oh, I got this. Banu
Come on.
Hiranandani.
Yeah. Hiranandani. Yeah.
Age 50, from Venezuela. Gandhi International, currently serving as a bishopric second counselor in the Karamari ward. Former bishop, stake presidency counselor, and now in the 6th quorum of the 70. And also Fernando Vivas in Caracas, Venezuela. Regional Director, Seminaries and Institutes of Religion, currently serving as president of the Las Sasas stake, former bishopric counselor, et cetera, et cetera. So congratulations to those new 70s called.
I noticed 2 unique things with these 70s. Number one, they're both in Caracas, Venezuela. And if you
Yes.
watch the press at all, Venezuela is not a happy, friendly place. In fact, our president may have just declared war on Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's interesting the church is continuing to grow and progress. That's a wonderful thing.
Mm-hmm.
The other interesting thing I saw with Elder Hiranandani that he previously served as an Area 70. So I thought that was unique as well. So he's called as a new Area 70, but he had previously served as an Area 70. I wonder if now, I guess they're both Area 70 general authorities or general authority 70s, right?
Okay.
Which is kind of a step up from an Area 70.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
What other news do you have that you want to make sure that we get to before we get to this general conference?
That's a good question. Let me see if there's anything else that we had talked about. I thought it was curious that an LDS leader addressed the Scottish Parliament recently. The Scottish Parliament actually invited one of the local LDS leaders, I believe it was in Area 70, who went and spoke at the Scottish Parliament about the church. And I think that probably had something to do with the recent temple that was announced to be built in Scotland. So I thought that was curious. And the other thing, from my days working, for my years working with the YSAs and kind of my soft heart for YSAs, I was really impressed by the Festinord conference
Hmm.
which was a massive YSA conference held, I believe, in Norway, that brought in anyone from Scandinavia and, frankly, anyone else who wanted to join to be part of that YSA conference.
I love the name of it. I wish that we had something here in the States that sounded like Festenjord. It's the
It's
Festenjord.
wonderful. Yeah, I was curious why they didn't call it the Festive Fjord because
Mm,
Norway is known for so many fjords, but it's also Nord, so they were
like
North.
Nordic. I don't know. It's got to be that,
Yeah,
right? Festen.
those that haven't been to Norway, you're missing out. If you ever get a chance to go to Norway, it is amazingly
I've never
beautiful.
been.
Yeah,
Would
you
you
should
would you
someday.
would you go to Norway for a cultural hall episode? You're also eager to go to
Certainly, if it
you're
gave
cert,
me an excuse, yeah, yeah.
you're like all on board to St. George, but I bring up Norway and you're like, nah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
you want to go to Oslo or Bergen or some other city in Norway. Maybe if we went north of the Arctic Circle,
Look at you naming all these places in Norway. Good for
places I've
you.
been.
Okay,
And I
okay.
got lucky as a young man. My father was on assignment in Europe for a couple of years, and so we spent summers touring Europe.
That's cool. I don't
Yeah,
know that
it
I
was a
knew
lot
that.
of fun. Yeah.
Members of the First
There's
Presidency and the Quorum of the 12 now have YouTube channels. Every
they
single one of
do,
them. Every single one of them.
including President Nelson.
Yeah. Probably not a lot of new content on President Nelson's after this weekend. But
Yeah, it's impressive.
you do bring up an interesting point. Will that continue, or
Ah,
does that channel get shut down and sort of
yeah.
brought into the
What's their
church at large?
policy on social media? Yeah, when someone passes away, does it exist in perpetuity? Excuse me, or does it get turned off? Interesting question.
And if it's a particular person or not, because unfortunately, you think of someone like Charlie Kirk, all of his content's still out there after his assassination.
Right. But
But
his organization continues.
exactly, but it's under his organization where it's just a particular person. Does it become at the passing of the individual like the rights of the church? Does it become the rights of the Nelson family?
Well, I think if it is President Russell M. Nelson, President of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or Elder Ulysses Suarez, one of the apostles of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I think it's considered an official channel, and
Sure.
the church probably has all rights to that channel.
And then maybe do you just sort of you say no new stuff and archive it, and maybe you don't do new comments, or do people are
Yeah.
people just still able to interact with it, or does it become sort of archived
Ooh.
content just for you to
Well, let's see.
observe
In 10 years, let's think about, do we AI enable it so you can interact still with it?
with video?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. But I think it's great that they have YouTube channels. They all have Instagram channels now, I think.
Hmm.
Many of them have X IDs and Facebook. So there's a smattering of all the different socials.
General officers, that is the general presidencies of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, gave emergency backpacks, 300 of them, to the Development of the Family DIF organization in the Benito Juarez municipality. Sister Annette Dennis, first counselor in the Relief Society General Presidency, presented the donation with Sister Andrea Munoz Spanos, second counselor in the Young Women General Presidency, and Sister Tracy Browning. I love, and I know that they probably did this before, but the visuals of the female leaders of of this church ministering in other countries. We knew that they did this stuff. I don't know if they did it at the level that they currently did it, or if we're just being more visible about it. But when there is not a man, an elder president, I mean, maybe they're spouses, right? But they're not just accoutrement to the apostle that's there. They are the show. I love this so
Mhm.
much.
Uh, I think it's fantastic. I love having the sister leaders of the church out there in the public,
Hmm.
being exposed to that. The thing that I started to think about based on that, and maybe this could be a change in policy at some point, brethren called as general authority 70s or apostles,
Hmm.
certainly first presidency and prophets, serve for the rest of their life.
Hmm.
Right in the 70s, I guess there's an emeritus status,
Yes.
and but with sisters, they typically only serve for what, 3 to 6 years,
Yeah, typically
and
five, I think.
then released and new presidencies are called, and so I'm wondering if there might be in the cards lifetime lifetime assignments and appointments for some of these sisters.
Interesting. Why would they not do it now?
Hmm.
And what would need to change in order for it to occur? And why do we do it now? The other thing that sort of dawns on me, where missionaries can go younger, why do we still do the different time length for sister missionaries and elder missionaries?
That's a great question.
Or why not
I'm
all 18 months? Or why not, hey, when I'm putting in, I can do 12, 18, or 24?
Yeah, yeah. But back to the sisters, as I thought about it, I can't think of any reasonable reason someone could not receive a lifetime calling, just like a general authority.
Hmm. Hmm. I don't know. I'm in favor of it. I'll raise my hand. In
Feels to me
favor.
like culture, not doctrine.
Anyone
So,
opposed? No one? Just like always.
see, now in our family, Susan would be far more likely to get called to a lifetime position in the church than I
Of,
am.
I appreciate that you felt like you needed to say that. You didn't
No,
need to say that. Everyone knew.
oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, of course. You're like, I need to say this. And I was like, Verlin,
That's what friends are for.
yeah, there's not a single question in anyone's mind that it's like when you go to the Youd family, is it Susan or Verlin that's getting called for life? No offense, pal. It's your wife, not you.
Yeah, yeah. And I won't out it because she hasn't been sustained yet, but she's receiving a new state calling, which is a
Ah,
pretty impressive, pretty cool calling to have, and I'm very proud of her
that's
as well as
awesome.
excited. But I also know, as usual, I'll be dragged into it
Of
in some
course.
way, shape, or form.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah,
That's why you guys are such a great pair, as she says, come on, Verlin, come on.
she does.
You want it? You want to stick with this? Are we staying together? Let's go. Get it together, Verlin. She
That's
says.
right. That's right.
Poor lady.
And we'll
Poor
see.
lady.
Maybe she'll come to the cultural hall recording, the live recording as well.
She's
People can meet
invited.
Susan.
She's invited. That's actually a draw. People may come now.
Oh, there you go. You're right.
Were it just you and I, they'd be like, meh. They'll publish
Special
it.
guest, Susan Youd. Yeah.
Oh, you know what would be even cooler? I'll ask her myself. Would be even cooler is if we took a moment to get to know the news wizard's wife.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Maybe a little interview. Let's not put too much on her.
Yeah, I'll give you a little bit of a tease of a discussion we will have then.
Okay.
I know that I will at some point, if she's talking, use the line, "Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story." So
yeah. There is a playlist feature for the Gospel Library app that's coming soon. The Sacred Music app going to retire in 2026. Yeah, good. We gave it a good long life. But the features are being integrated into the Gospel Library app. Coming this month, individuals will be able to create a playlist of songs in the Gospel Library app. If members of the church are logged into both the Sacred Music app and the Gospel Library app, your playlists will be synced before the Sacred Music app is retired. If you need to find out more about it, go into your app, y'all. The Gospel Library app. No more Sacred Music app. It's gone.
It's about time we merge those in.
Right?
Something related to that in terms of music, and I know you'll probably have a chat with the mayor about some of these things, but the church just announced and released 12 more hymns.
Yes.
To the Hymns for Home and Church. And included in those 12 is one written by President Nelson. And I was actually quite surprised that they didn't use that in his memorial service.
I also, but my bet, because the Tabernacle Choir, I don't think has sung it yet.
Oh,
they needed another week. They needed a little bit more time.
Probably General Conference, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure, General Conference too. And then being able to sort of talk about how this comes out next year and that hymn written by our beloved prophet, and even in his passing and how we encompass this into the future, we'll be able to enjoy that. That song was first published in the Ensign back in 2003.
Mm-hmm. And it has been performed in General Conference in 2018 and 2022.
Okay, so current group would likely, there's a good amount of people in the choir right now who would likely know it, but it's been a couple years.
Yeah.
Our prayer to thee. I think it's interesting to note that we have Little Baby in a Manger, which is a great Christmas primary hymn that I hope we sing because it's a very simple song. And I also I hope that we bring in all of the rhythm that any Utah County ward could bring Go tell it on a mountain. Go tell
The
it.
other one is, I don't know if you recognize it. There's another gospel spiritual here from African American roots called "He Cares for Me,"
Oh,
and
I don't know that I knew that.
I've mentioned here on the program that we have a sister in our ward of African American heritage, and as she walks up to the stand to bear her testimony, she sings one of these spirituals every time. And one
No,
that she sings very often is "He Cares for Me."
that's awesome.
And it is beautiful when she does it. Oh my gosh. It sends chills down my spine every time. And by the time she's on the stand, everyone in the congregation is humming with her if they
That's
don't know
so
the
cool.
words.
That's
But she's
so
done Go
cool.
Tell It on the Mountain. She's done This Little Light of Mine. She's done all of the kind of classic African spirituals as she walks up to the stand. And it's a very beautiful thing.
I meant to double click on this, but I actually didn't, and I can't find it since. It's there in North Carolina. It was a lineup of people going into a chapel and doing, I think, what they call like a cheer tunnel or a praise tunnel. Have you heard about this?
I have not.
I don't I this is 50% of the article maybe or not at all what this article is about. But there's a talk show, Jennifer Hudson, midday kind of thing, and the show, it's a midday interview kind of show, right? But what people have been
It's no Oprah, but it's something.
yeah. But what happens is, as people are making their way towards the stage, all of the staff and everyone lines up and cheers them on, and then they get a dance and do all this stuff. I don't know if that's at all what this North Carolina ward was doing, but it looked like that's what this North Carolina ward was looking or doing. And I don't know if it was like for a celebrating the youth kind of thing, and so then it would make a little bit more sense, or
Kind of like soccer parents do.
yeah. Or if it was a thing that they just decided to be like, you know what? Today we're going to get a little rowdy as you make your
We're
way
going
to
to cheer
sacrament
everyone
meeting.
in.
Because and I could see us doing this. I just want to throw this out here. If we did it all the way until the door, I think that there's nothing inappropriate, irreverent, any of that kind of stuff around it. If we just have everyone who gets there early, or a certain group, it's all the young men and young women, it's all the Relief Society presidency, the bishopric, and whatever. And
It's
we're
the
out
ward council. Yeah.
yeah, welcome. Good to have you. Get in there. We're so glad to have you. Not every week. But would that not just change the way you looked at something like that if that happened?
That would be very cool. That would be very cool. And it strikes me, you mentioned last time the idea of, because of some of these security concerns, do we have everyone enter and exit through a primary door?
Yes.
From now on. And
the
if we
answer
did
is yes.
that, we could start the tradition that the Presbyterians and Baptists do, of the lead pastor goes out and stands at the door and shakes everyone's hand as they leave. Right?
Yeah, I've had bishops who have done that before, who, when we get to the closing hymn, they get up and they go to the doors to go. The executive secretary and the bishop go to one side, and then the first counselor and the second counselor go to the other, so that they can shake everyone's hand as they leave.
That's awesome.
I love that. I don't know why that isn't a standard practice, because even if it's just Berlin, I know you got to go. You're not coming to second hour. It's not an accountability.
I love
thing.
it.
It's not a guilt thing. It's not a shame thing. It's
Berlin. Just thanks for being here.
Good to see you today. Have a great day.
Yeah, exactly. And you're right. There's a set of people that come to sacrament meeting and don't feel comfortable staying.
Yep.
What a great way to at least connect with them and have them feel appreciated and feel the spirit from their leadership.
It matters that you were here today.
Involve the Relief Society president, involve the Young Women's president in the primary. Well, the primary president, Young Women's couldn't do it because they have to go handle Young Women's in primary. But maybe they could figure that out.
Yeah, we could figure it out. Yeah, give a couple minutes.
Yeah, that would be great.
Anything else? Those are kind of dark. I don't want to do those yet. Gave 8,000 classroom chairs to 20 Bulacan schools. Bulacan,
Philippines, right? And my question immediately jumped to mind: are these the cheap plastic chairs with the holes in them, or are these the classic, fold up backwards metal chairs that we've had for the last 30 years?
Well, that's a fair point. That's a fair question. Here's what I want to point out about that. You said, "Oh, are these the cheap plastic chairs?" I saw. I've been trying to find a door on Facebook Marketplace. I want to buy an old door. I'm going to do this thing that I'm going to essentially build like a faux wall to my garden, and have an old door and door casing so that
Yeah.
you go through the door into the garden area. It's
Yeah.
dumb. I love it.
Very cool.
I'm going to do it.
I have a place here in Virginia. You can buy hundreds of those doors.
Yes, at a very big price. I'm trying to not get
No,
it.
not so bad.
No.
No. We just bought the new doors for our house at that place. We bought doors that turns out used to be doors to the governor's mansion in New Jersey
Well,
at this place. Yeah.
yeah.
Now, our builder wasn't too happy because he has to do custom frames, but that's
Yeah.
a different issue.
Exactly that. So I was looking on Facebook Messenger, and these plastic chairs, those aren't cheap. Not even the air quote cheap chairs.
Really?
Those
Wow.
those are not cheap like you'd think. Like you think they're $10 a pop? Nope.
No.
Because they have to be
No.
durable for kids.
Yeah, they're not comfortable for me.
No.
I much rather sit on the metal chair than sit on that plastic chair.
Yeah, but you won the lottery when you get the little fluffy metal chair, right?
Well, yeah, the Relief Society gets those chairs, and so does the High Council.
Yeah, and occasionally one sneaks out, and then everybody in the elders quorum tries to get it. Tell someone
We had one gentleman in our elders quorum who asked, "Can I please get one of those chairs? I have a physical challenge, and I need one of those chairs." So one of those ends up in our elders quorum every week.
And then everyone fights over it. The last thing that I want to bring up, and hopefully someone that is adjacent to this or knows about this or can remember and get us looped in on this for next year, the Gathering of Tribes.
Mm-hmm.
This is hosted once a year here in Utah. I think this year hosted near the Mount Timpanogos, Utah temple. It's Indigenous Latter-day Saints and their allies that come together on healing, unity, and connecting with their faith. It's called the Gathering of Tribes. I just want to throw it out there. This is the thing for me that I would love to go and participate in. Sounds like it's a one-day thing, but this also to me is something that I think that we should make more readily available. This is a part of our church, our history, our nation's history that people, I think, are ignorantly unaware of the exchange with the church of Native American people just in general, like their certainly just from a national perspective, but as a religious, a church history perspective and the intersection with Native American people, I think the narrative that we all think about with that is highly inaccurate or highly flawed in that that's probably from one side and not the other, and has been, sort of whitewashed in a way that we could stand to learn from our Native American brothers and sisters.
Absolutely. As I read this article, and I agree with you, I think we need more exposure and more understanding with this group. I also think that we have to be a little sensitive in terms of we don't want to over participate in something that they've designed for themselves.
Yes.
And take it over. We don't want to crowd them out. But I think you're absolutely correct, because depending on what vintage you were in the church, you have different experiences with the church's programs and plans for those indigenous peoples in the Americas.
Yes.
And some have a better reputation than others. And we certainly need to figure out how to make that a better, broader understanding and experience across everyone.
Yeah. I appreciate the delicate way in which you said the vintage of what you are within the church.
Yes.
All right, that's it. Go about your day. Happy General Conference, everyone. We're not going to be we're not tweeting on X. We're not going to do that.
Okay.
I just think the juice, as they say, is not worth the squeeze. We may put some stuff out there if there are really big things. That probably the temple announcements and we didn't, it isn't President Oaks. There are some people that think that this is going to be the general conference where we usher in a change, an emeritus type thing for some of the senior most apostles. I don't think so. But anything like that, maybe we'll share there, but we won't be the talk by talk, at least at this point.
We won't be live tweeting. I won't be commenting on people's ties officially as the Cultural Hall. Yeah,
subject to change, but I just don't think so. Less and less people are there, and the people that are there are not people that I want to deal with. So there's that. Hope that this episode has nourished and strengthened your body.
And if you weren't healthy enough to listen this week, you'll be healthy enough to listen next week.
And that when the time comes, you'll be able to travel home in safety. In the meantime, go Tar Heels. Chris at Alpine Lakes Travel Debbie Wanless, Chocolate Cake Bites Podcast, and the Tiger with a U will be saving a seat for you
on the back row
of
the
Cultural Hall.
Save me a seat, it's sure to be neat on the back row. We really gotta go on the Cultural Hall show.